The Art of Disappearing, ***. Chapter 1. The Vanishing Act. The faculty party hummed with a low murmur of academic small talk, tenure tracks, grant proposals, the upcoming lecture series. I stood by the hors d'oeuvres table, nodding along as Michael explained his latest research to the dean's wife for what must have been the third time this semester. The socioeconomic implications are fascinating, really, ***. I tuned out, focusing instead on the way the ice cubes in my gin and tonic had melted into watery ghosts. My fingers left damp prints on the glass. Across the room, the new art professor leaned against the grand piano, holding court with a group of graduate students. David Merrick. I'd heard the whispers about him, the way he wore paint-splattered jeans to faculty meetings, how he'd apparently turned down a prestigious gallery show to teach here. A burst of laughter rose from his circle. One of the students touched his arm, and he grinned, easy and unguarded. I watched the way his whole face changed when he smiled, how his eyes crinkled at the corners in a way that made him look boyish despite the silver threading his dark curls. Michael's hand settled at the small of my back. "You're zoning out again." I blinked. "Sorry. Just tired." He gave me that look, the one that said we've talked about this, before steering me toward another colleague. "Richard's wife just had their third. You should ask her about the preschool waitlist." The conversation blurred into white noise. Later, when Michael was deep in debate about departmental budgets, I slipped out onto the terrace. The October air bit through my silk blouse. I lit a cigarette I'd bummed off a TA, a habit I'd quit years ago, back when we were still trying for a baby. The sliding door opened behind me. "Those'll kill you, you know." David leaned against the railing, lighting his own clove cigarette. The smoke curled between us, sweet and spicy. "I thought you were the reckless type," I said. He laughed. "Only on Tuesdays." We stood in comfortable silence, watching the campus lights flicker on below. "You're Margaret, right? English Lit." "Just Meg," I corrected. "And yes, early modern poetry." "Ah." He exhaled a smoke ring. "The good stuff." When he turned to look at me, I felt it, that unsettling sensation of being truly seen. Not as Dr. Bennett's wife, not as the sad-eyed woman from the fertility clinic, but as myself. "Tell me something, Meg." He tapped us over the railing. "What do you want from life?" The question hit like a punch to the ribs. Nobody had asked me that in 9 years. Inside, through the glass doors, Michael waved me over. The dean wanted introductions. I stubbed out my cigarette. "Right now?" "Another drink." David's smile lingered as I walked away. "Next Tuesday, then." It wasn't until I was back in the crowded room, the taste of clove still on my lips, that I realized I hadn't said no. Chapter 2. The Reappearance. The following Tuesday found me lingering in the faculty lounge 15 minutes past my office hours, pretending to grade papers. My red pen hovered over a particularly atrocious sonnet analysis when the scent of turpentine and bergamot announced his arrival. "You came." David stood in the doorway, 2 takeout coffees in hand. He wore a charcoal sweater with holes at the elbows, the kind of purposeful dishevelment that would have made Michael frown. I was thirsty. I accepted the cup, letting my fingers brush his. The coffee was perfect, black, 1 sugar. I didn't remember telling him. He perched on the edge of my desk, displacing a stack of essays. "You're grading Hopkins? Brave woman. You've read Hopkins? Artists appreciate sprung rhythm." He plucked the top paper from the pile, skimming the student's tortured analysis of the windhover. His brow furrowed in concentration, and I noticed how his eyelashes cast shadows on his cheekbones in the afternoon light. The silence stretched comfortably between us as he read. Michael would have filled it with talk of faculty politics or our mortgage refinancing. "Christ," David finally muttered, tossing the paper aside. "This kid's never seen a falcon in his life." "Most of them haven't." He leaned forward suddenly, elbows on knees. "When was the last time you stopped to watch a bird in flight?" The question caught me off guard. I thought of my planner, back-to-back classes, department meetings, the IVF consultation scheduled for Thursday. David's eyes softened. "That's what I thought." He stood abruptly and extended a hand. "Come on." "Where?" "To see something that isn't fluorescent lit." I hesitated. There were papers to grade, emails to answer, a grocery list forming in my head. But his palm remained open, waiting. The moment stretched like taffy, thin, golden, precarious. I took his hand. Chapter 3. The Seance. The campus chapel bells chimed 3 as we emerged from the woods, my stocking snagged on brambles, his sweater smelling of damp leaves and oil paint. Somewhere between identifying hawk feathers and debating whether Frost was a romantic at heart, we'd lost 3 hours. My phone buzzed in my purse. Michael. Asterisk dinner with the Harrisons at 7. Don't forget the wine, asterisk. David watched me type out a reply, my thumbs moving with practiced efficiency. Asterisk got it. Home by 6, asterisk. You're good at that, he remarked. At what? Existing in 2 places at once. A squirrel scolded us from a nearby oak. I focused on extracting the snag from my stocking, suddenly aware of the grass stains on my knees, the way my hair had come loose from its clip. Evidence. David crouched beside me, his fingers brushing mine as he took over the delicate operation. You know, he said quietly, most people don't notice what's missing until they find it again. The nylon tore anyway. Chapter 4. The Medium. The ultrasound gel was colder than I remembered. Any day now, Dr. Schumer said, moving the wand across my abdomen. The monitor showed the same silent cosmos it had for 7 years. Michael squeezed my hand. Next cycle. In the parking lot afterward, I found a single daisy tucked under my windshield wiper. No note. None needed. That night, as Michael snored lightly beside me, I pressed my palms to my still flat stomach and conjured ghosts. The child we couldn't make, the woman I'd been in the woods today, the life that might have bloomed from different choices. My phone glowed on the nightstand. One new message. Asterisk found a kestrel's nest. Thursday. Asterisk. Outside, the moon hung heavy and full, a thing forever caught between waxing and waning. Final chapter. The vanishing point. The pregnancy test stared up from the bathroom tiles. Positive. Somewhere across town, David's latest exhibition opened without me. Michael was buying a bottle of champagne large enough to drown in. I pressed my forehead to the cool glass of the window, watching a hawk ride the thermals. Higher and higher until it was just a speck, then nothing at all. Epilogue. The Art of Reappearing. The department chair asks about my sabbatical. Research. I say, adjusting the baby carrier. In the studio, unfinished canvases gather dust. One depicts a woman half faded into a forest, her outline barely distinguishable from the trees. At faculty meetings, David and I pass like polite strangers. But sometimes, when the hawk cries outside my office window, we both look up. And in that moment before the spell breaks, I exist everywhere and nowhere at all.